right, good morning. All right, let's get started. Apologies, I was late. Sucked into what I was doing. But good morning, everyone. Let's dive in. Let me share my screen. I hope you all enjoyed getting to hear from Michael yesterday. I know I did. All right, so for Zoom, always struggle with this, so bear with me, you guys. I'm gonna have to practice this more. Since this is my first masterclass, you all get to be a part of the bumps. Okay, here we go. I think that works. Desk 2. I think I figured it out. You guys can see it, right? Cool, cool, cool. Awesome.
Right.
All right, and I can see it. Day 5. Thank you all for being here. This has been incredible. I have really enjoyed it. And I hope you've gotten a lot out of it. We'll have a survey at the end that I would you'd love your feedback for. I think it's hard to get someone to sign up for a 5-day masterclass without knowing what you're going to get. And you all have stuck with me on this. And I hope you've gotten incredible value. And I think this survey is going to help people really understand what they can get out of it. And we can help more people. If you're watching on another platform, register here. If you want to use YouTube stream and replay, watch them here. This is for my LinkedIn community. Go ahead and join it. I'll send them in the follow-up emails. But we're going to be starting a book club, so that's exciting. And the group will just decide which book you guys want to start with. So engage live and win my top business book. Do your homework and get a LinkedIn audit. We're doing a LinkedIn audit today, so I'm really excited about that. And then share on social and tag me. All right, so day 4 homework highlights. I think the big thing that I'm hearing about from people is that it's trying to measure like the intangible. What makes you you? Why are you exceptional? And I think we were able to capture this yesterday with Katie, which was incredible. And so if you didn't catch yesterday's session, go and take a look. But I think this is the big thing with the homework and being able to actually, like, it's an amazing feeling to feel like what you did, you were able to capture and articulate. And I think that helps you feel more seen in your job search. Like if you're not feeling seen right now, I think a lot of times we like to think that it's our approach and we're doing something wrong. And, I hope out of all of this that you're able to get a different way of thinking about it, that it might be how you're communicating your value could be a big part. So Bill Landis, one of my favorite business book, Measure What Matters. This talks all about OKRs. You will always think about OKRs and goals differently. It's a good book. It was also part of our leadership cohort. And so, Bill, I hope you like it. You haven't read it, have you, Bill? I don't know. All right. So a little story about me. You've seen my career trajectory, right? Like I started at $35,000 a year and I struggled and I worked 2 jobs and I was a server. And I had my sister-in-law, I feel like she was one of that, how you have those people in your life that are like, wow, I know what you're capable of and I know you're not doing that right now. She's like, you just need to go get an MBA. If you get an MBA, things will come into place for you. So I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll go get that. And it was a lot because I, didn't take off time from work. So I went to school full time and got my MBA. And regardless, I got an MBA and then I doubled my salary. So I got hired through LinkedIn Easy Apply. And I felt like at the time, okay, I have an MBA, but they're not helping with my resume. I know I can do all of these things. And now I have all this business acumen, but I'm not putting it all together. So I hired a resume writer. And this was like 10 years ago. So that would have been like, it's just $1,500 at the time. So probably $2,500 just to do my resume and my LinkedIn, which was like no one else in my MBA was doing this, even though they spent $80,000 in an MBA. But I felt like it was so important to do. I felt like I got the ROI on that because I 2x my salary and I got hired through LinkedIn Easy Apply. And so I got into tech. I really didn't, it wasn't like a target for me. I didn't even know about the company, but it opened up doors for me. And I know a lot of you are probably feeling really scarce in your job search. And I was talking to a client the other day, like I remember vividly like being in the Starbucks line and thinking I shouldn't be here right now. Like I should not be spending money on Starbucks. And it's just the worst feeling. Even when you have money in the bank for savings and stuff, right? You're all thinking like, I just don't know how long it's going to take to get a job. But this is what it opened up for me. Like I had an amazing wedding. I got married the year that I started my new job. I took my mom on a luxury vacation to Cancun and we stayed at the Ritz-Carlton. And it like I wanted her to have nice vacations. This was some of the flowers. And my husband and I had an amazing honeymoon. We spent more money than you want to know and just went all out, like what you want to do on your honeymoon. And so I'm like telling this story in the sense that like there's something that opens up. There's a financial freedom and like financial pieces are such a big part of all of this. The scarcity we bring into our mindset right now in the job search, and it's really tough to avoid. Like I think it's always going to be there. It's just how do you deal with it? Um, and then like once you land in your new role and you're there and you're like, okay, now I've coveted like a much bigger salary and I'm doing this and I can have the life that I want. Not that the life that you want costs money, but a lot of it does. Um, it can be, I just wanted to show you a little bit of like the destination of like showing up, what it can do for you. And um we've got an audit winner. It's Manuel. So, Manuel, I'm excited to look at your profile today. We're going to go over, this will be fast, but we're going to go over LinkedIn overview optimization. And then you all are on my email list, but as a part of my email list after this class, you're going to get, I do a 12-week foundational series, which is like the main things that I think are important in a job search. And so you're going to actually get a handout for each one. And there is a handout on LinkedIn optimization. So I wanted to make sure like my email list is like really giving you value and value that you're not going to get anywhere else in how you engage with me. So that 25-step LinkedIn optimization list will be in there. And we're going to talk about some of the key things today. Reading some of the chats. Welcome to my daily thoughts. Yeah. $5 Starbucks. Actually, it's like $6 now. It's crazy. Starbucks is crazy. Okay. So the agenda for the day 5 is the complete value story framework, LinkedIn optimization, a live LinkedIn audit, and a client success story. Cool. So what you've accomplished this week is you discover your unique professional value. You've identified strategic niching and positioning. You've learned to think like a hiring manager, and you've transformed tasks into measurable achievements. I hope this has really helped you put it all together. And today is going to be the whole thing on how you're seen. Like, what's your first impression? What's your first interview on LinkedIn? And integrating it all into a cohesive value story. All right. So the value story connects the challenge. What problem existed? So yesterday we heard that from Katie, like the problem was it took a long time to get these deals done and the company actually wants to close the deal at the best values. Like that happened. And she uniquely addressed it by like systemizing a framework and and bringing it to the entire team. And then we found those metrics that showed that she did that. And why it mattered to the business was that they could get more deals done. They could save money. They might need less employees at some point. And your transferability is, how does this apply to future roles? So for Katie, her talk track might be, I can do this for you. Like I transform legal departments, and I can go in and do that. And here's how I've done it. All right. I'm not going to go over this because I think we really covered it yesterday. Let me just read you the example here. And there's a formula. When I took over an engineering team with consistently missed deadlines, I implemented a modular development approach with automated testing that reduced deployment time by 64%. This allowed us to release twice as frequently while cutting defects by 42%. So like even just this comment of this allowed us to release twice as frequently while cutting defects by 42%, demonstrating my ability to transform underperforming teams through strategic process innovation, let someone see, oh, they could do that for me. I think the first part might be a little too tactical, but this is for an engineering role. And so that's what you want to be able to communicate. All right. Your LinkedIn profile is your first interview. We've talked about that. The first place recruiters go after reviewing your resume. It's working for you even when you're not actively job searching. So after I did that big LinkedIn update, doubled my salary, then I got that highly coveted job that had 700 applicants for my internal transfer. I was getting all of these people reaching out for really good jobs. And I was like, I'm having babies. I'm not leaving, right? But like it kept working for me. Um, and so a platform to demonstrate your thought leadership and your professional first impression. So like a platform to demonstrate your thought leadership. I thought on Monday when we heard from Alonzo, and I'll just tell you, I'm tired today. So you're getting a tired me. It's been a long week. Um, and I'm still a little sick, but in terms of like thought leadership, I think he felt like the posts didn't really matter. And I would say maybe they don't matter for a recruiter, but if I'm a hiring manager, I'm going to go on and want to see what you're doing there. And so I do think it is a chance to show your thought leadership and like, why not show that? Um, Most profiles are passive summaries. Yours will be a strategic asset. I challenge all of you to work on this. So the top question for the day is when someone goes to your LinkedIn profile, what do you want them to know about you? And so I think this is really good for you to think about, write it down in your workbook. And as a part of the community, so the community is going to be community led, meaning I'm not going to be in there giving you feedback on LinkedIn profiles and stuff, but your team members can, and the community, your community members, they can go in and you can say, hey, what do you get from this? If you know your value story and you know what you want to communicate, anyone can tell you. Anyone could do this LinkedIn audit for you and tell you what it probably won't be the same as me, but like, tell you what they're picking up, because that's what, and even if you can get in your networking conversations with other people, let's say you're targeting a strategy role and you're networking with people in strategy, like you don't just want a referral from them. If they can give you feedback on your LinkedIn profile and what they're picking up, that would be huge. Um, so finding those little ways for people to help and support you and for you to help and support people, I think is going to be huge for you and your job search. Okay, so there's 25 elements across the critical areas. One is strategic niching. We talked about that, focus positioning. Visual elements, so like the visual aspect of your first impression impact, your core content, which is your professional story, the networking elements of social proof and engagement, and then technical optimization, visibility to recruiters. So today we're going to focus on the highest impact elements. I think I have 10 slides. So this is number one, just so you know where we're going. And then we're going to jump into the audit. And I'm going to go fast. So the foundation is the number one LinkedIn mistake is trying to appeal to everyone. This really hits on the value positioning and the niching that we talked about on Wednesday with Donna, but it's to choose one specific role, research the most in-demand skills for that role, and align all your profile elements to support the singular focus. If you're keyword matching, which we already talked about, I hate to do, that means you probably haven't niched down enough. Like your keywords, once you're applying to enough of the same roles, this should all just be there. And you're not having to shift it for every role. It would be a much better use of your time to target these roles and go after them hard with networking than to be keyword matching and trying to be everything to everyone. Being specific doesn't cost you opportunities, it attracts the right ones. Let's just go back. Like I started a business last year. I had 52 sales calls. I was not solving any one problem. And people didn't know they couldn't place me. They didn't know how I could help them. And I think this happens in your profile as well. And so your profile should make someone think, this is the person. This person is exactly what we need. We need this person on our team. We need a transformation. Visual elements is a custom banner. So do a custom banner, replace the default, include your name and ideal role type, add a powerful quote or key metric, and ensure the text isn't hidden beneath your profile picture. So these are just some of the basics. For your profile picture, it's going to be do a current photo with good lighting. So I don't know if I have this here, but I love Headshot Pro. It's $33. All of my pictures right now, I have not done a photo shoot. They are AI. And that's from Headshot Pro. And so you don't need any makeup for the women here. You don't need any makeup on. You can just, you do like 12 photos inside and outside, have your hair done. For men, just, be clean shaven and all of that for your headshot. But once you have your professional picture, then you can have that and you can you can play around in Canva with the different banner backgrounds, but you want contrast. So if like your custom banner is blue, then you want the background for your profile picture to be white, for example. Like you want it to be very clean and to stick out. And in Headshot Pro, it gives you different outfits. So that's kind of nice. I had like 30 different shirts. And then background that can contrast with your banner. Cool. And drop questions you have in the chat. I'll answer them if I have time, okay? So then there's the professional narrative. We've got the strategic headline. This is not just your job title. And this should be like a fingerprint. It should describe you. Like, I love to see cookie enthusiast, pizza lover, whatever, like at the end, like something personal about you. Like, I love, outdoor or whatever. Something about you, and then something that like makes you come alive. And for your job search, it could be more around like, team turnaround or like, I don't know, like your go-to thing. And there is a formula for having a good headline. And then definitely make sure it has your target role in there, but it shouldn't be the only thing on there. And there's your formula right there. I think these are all, I don't know if this is in your workbook. You have to tell me. Compelling about section. Start your section. You should go with a strong opening summary statements. Include your job title and value prop and 3 to 5 key achievements. Share what excites you about future opportunities and tell a coherent story that brings your career narrative to life. This is where you literally want, like, someone should be able to read your about section and understand the essence of what you can do. So who you are professionally, what you do, how you do it differently, who you help and how, and your call to action. So number 5 is an experience that tells a story. Experience section best practices is the impact I made. I love just having this. You could like give like a 1 paragraph of like highlighting top skills, what you did, etc. That storytelling piece, and then you can be the impact that I made, and that can have all of your quantifiables metrics there. All right, and this should make your resume bullets come alive. So you should be telling the story about your resume bullets a bit more than your resume. This should not be the same. And of course, it's not just like a list of your previous position description. So now we move on to social proof, and we heard this from Alonzo. This is important. So, and you can do this with AI, but like think about the people you worked with, the people who liked working with you, and what they'd say about you, and just jot it down, a couple bullet points. They would say this, or this, and then write something for them and ask them if they're good with it, or ask them to write something. I think it's a lot easier for them. Like, you can get them to agree, and then you can write something, offer to write something. But you really need, I would say, at least 3 to 5 recommendations within the last 5 years. You want people to see that you're qualified. And you heard from Alonzo, like the best companies that they work at would be better as you're targeting people. So if you are trying to decide on your best friend that works at a no-name company now, or like someone that worked with you a little bit that works at like, a big tech company, go for the big tech in terms of brand, because you're going to get to ride on that person's brand. And then endorse skills is select up to 50 skills and then have your recommendations endorse those skills. So this is your culmination. I think it was earlier homework, but this is your culmination of the, let's say you have your top 5 profile job descriptions that you like after niching down, and you have your 20 consolidated skills from there. Your endorsed skills should include these, right? That goes back to not having a keyword match all the time because you're just targeting now. And then you've got strategic content. So content strategy, only 4% of users post regularly. So this can help you be seen more. And if you're really taking a targeted approach and you have companies you want to work at, like Atlassian for me, follow Atlassian, follow the leaders at Atlassian, comment on their posts, like be present within these companies so that you're there. Get to know recruiters, comment on their stuff. You heard Alonzo say that on Monday. It's really nice to be able to see other people engaging in things that they're not just wanting something from you right away. And I think, LinkedIn is reciprocal. There's the law of reciprocity in LinkedIn. Like you give and you get. And I think a lot of times we forget this. And then pin 2 to 4 of your best posts or articles. So there is a featured section, use it. Some of the best career advice I got from my coach was, what are the top 3 things you want to communicate in an interview? Like for interview prep, know those. that you can think about with those top three, and for me, they end up being the same over and over. That's what your featured section should be. That helps those top three things come alive. And the next one is technical optimization, so maximum visibility. We talked about that already. I skipped that. And then open to work settings appropriately. It seemed like Alonzo really felt like maybe it should just be for recruiters, but totally up to you. If you want the banner, if you don't want the banner, but configure that and don't have 10 different types of roles, right? That's where you're going to niche down. Okay, so we're going to jump now. We're not going to jump to Avril yet. We're going to jump to manual. We're going to do a probably 5 to 10 minute LinkedIn profile audit. Are you ready, Manuel?
I am, and thank you, by the way.
Oh yeah, I'm happy to do it. Okay, I'm just gonna go find this. Okay. Have you worked a lot on your profile?
Yes. Well,
Yes.
I basically in the in the first sections, the I forget the names. The banner at the beginning and the profile. I'm trying to wait. What's happening here?
Okay, so you did the banner at the beginning. Okay, so let's just go through this, and I'm gonna go fast. But the banner at the
Yes,
beginning is nice. It looks like a city. It doesn't really tell me about you or like what you stand for. So I think having that type of something like your name, what type of role you're targeting, and like either a quote or like a key outcome. Like if you're like a type of person that's like going into teams and like delivering like similar types of like transformation outcomes types of things, it could be nice to have something like that there. I think your profile picture is
yes.
good. That's professional. And I would just have more contrast from your background. So if your background's white, that dark gray looks good. Um, if your background's blue, I would go lighter. Um, in terms of your headline, and I'm just going to look at this. The reason why this is going to be fast is it's what someone else is going to look at. But what this tells me is I don't really know how to place you. Like a partner operations manager, change management professional, training, enablement, L&D. Like to me, there are a lot of different roles. And so I don't really know. I don't know if you're an expert in any of those one things, you know? So I think figuring out what you really, really want to do and putting that out there and going after that is going to be key here so that when someone looks at your headline, they can place you. Does that make sense?
It does. It was the first thing when you were explaining about the 10 bullets that you mentioned before. That one, I came to my mind. I said, "Oh, I have to change
Yeah,
that."
yeah. Just changing that should really help.
Yeah.
Okay, so the about me, so I am torn, and I should really know more about this, but like the 30 years of experience or any types of years of experience for me, I just wonder if ageism is going to come in here. I kind of like to leave it off. Like it's all about what you can do. I think a lot of profiles are still saying to do this, but I do wonder, like, because my mind went to the 30 years. My eyes went directly to these metrics, and so the 30 years of experience really matters because you have all of this experience and can deliver results and have done it over and over and over again. And that's the story you want to tell in terms of here. Like you've repeatedly done these things and you're consistently reliable to come in and help someone else do the same. Like to me, that is the value of experience. And I'm sure there's so much more, but telling that piece in your about section, I think will really stand out. Um, in terms of in terms of this to me feels a little bit more like a list versus telling your story. Like I want to know who you are, what you stand for, why someone hired you over other people, what you're really good at, like going back to that slide right here. Um and I love seeing how you put these skills right here. I think that's great.
Mhm.
And I would just focus on those skills that the top skills that you're going to see. So an about section is a really great place to have some good keywords because that's how recruiters are direct sourcing, right? So like having the consolidated skills for the niche down role is going to be important here. Again, so people know how to place you.
Hmm.
Um, cool.
Should
And
I, should I leave that? I'm sorry. Should I leave
yeah,
that part? Those last lines. Senior executive recruiters. I'm open to work, or it's redundant.
I think it's redundant. I think you want to come alive and confident and like they know you're open to work. They recruiters can see it even if you're not open to work. So I don't think I don't think you need to put that. A lot of times they're literally just filtering on people open to work or not open to work. So they have a filter there. You don't need to put that here. How to contact you is good. Keep that.
Okay.
And then the activities. So you reposted something. I don't know what it's about. And then you shared this, which is amazing. So thank you. And this is a great place to highlight your top three things we were talking about earlier. Okay. At a high level, looking at your experience, I love to see, like, I mean, obviously you can ride on Cisco's brand. You were an operations manager at Cisco. That's incredible. It's a Fortune 500. Like that automatically gives you credibility here. And I think just in terms of big brands, it's something that people are looking at. I kid you not, when the market got bad, job market got bad, a friend of mine, she was a Wharton MBA. She applied to 20 jobs. She got 10 interviews straight up because of her MBA school. People are looking at the brand notoriety a lot. So like you could even consider having like an ex Cisco in your headline. You want to ride on Cisco's brand.
Hmm.
Um, you see that with like ex Apple, ex Meta, ex Google, whatever, because
Hmm.
it's these big tech brands are almost giving as much notoriety as an alumni school, right? As where you went. So that's just a consideration. Um, I do like to see how you structured this feedback and communication, change management skills. And like my eyes go to this piece with the bullet points. Um,
Hmm.
and this is not just a list of what you did. So I think that that's excellent. Um, I think I'd like to see more of the transformation here in terms of bullets. So you're going to want your bullets to come alive on your resume with these items. So you can keep trusted advisor and then have your bullet come alive with that, right? Trusted advisor that led a team, an ops team when Cisco's revenue went from 1 billion to 2 billion or whatever, right? To show the scale of what, in terms of we talked about it yesterday, but trusted advisor.
Hmm.
So I would have more bullets, the proof to make these come alive. And then I'd like to see a paragraph above, like just telling your story and have this be more storytelling. Um,
Okay.
and so,
So keep the bullets in the resume and here more like a narrative, like a
yeah,
story,
you're
and
gonna you're
also the
gonna
bullet.
have bullets in here, but you want your resume bullets to come alive. So if your resume bullets can only be 12 to 20 words, they could be 30 or 40 here. And you want that experience of how you stood out, that big thing that you did to come alive here. To be like,
Okay.
oh, I see now how his unique value proposition comes through.
Got
So I would have your bullets because you need them for proof
it.
here. And so, like, this is great. It shows promotion. I would talk about this promotion in your story. So you were a partner operations manager, then you became an operations manager. Why did you move into that role? Why did they select you over anyone else? Um, Telling people this, I mean, when you think about people coming to your profile and they're trying to figure out who to select, it's really nice to know someone else selected you and that they picked you and why they picked you. And this is where you can show your value prop more. Um, I don't know if there's a way to have logos here, but it would be nice. Um,
Hmm.
some type of logo here. I don't know if you could put in TK or systems, Cisco systems. Um, and then the same things are going to come through for this, right? You're going to want your proof, your overview. You only need to have 10, 15 years of experience in your resume or LinkedIn. So you don't have to go back to this. If it's not relevant to what you want to do, I would probably just remove it. Um,
Uh-huh.
and maybe the same as this, you could keep it, up to you. If it adds to your story, keep it. If it doesn't, don't. When you start to go really far back. Um,
That's always my question because so some people say, well, the company that Cisco hired for coaching and everything right after we were laid off mentioned that I only have to go back up to 10, 15 years of experience, but I'm not sure how useful it is to keep just the name of the companies, for example, like a previous experience or something, without going into detail, but at least I know that the time is could play against us because of the
yeah, yeah,
ageism
the
thing.
dates do, right? Like if you had like, I don't know, 1979 when you started, someone's going to be able to say, I don't even know what that date would be, but they're putting two and two together. So put what's
Right.
relevant, what is relevant to what you're trying to do and tell your story. Um, and I would take off just dates for education, and then have more skills here in terms of the top skills of your niche profiles. And
Mm-hmm.
you do have some updated recommendations, which is great. Um,
Okay.
when I skim this, I think what they said could be stronger. Like if you saw I had to click more. So you want this first paragraph to show your unique value prop.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That is a wrap. I hope that was helpful and that you've
It
learned a
was.
lot to add to here. Cool. Thank you for being.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you. It was very enlightening.
Yeah, yeah, you'll have a little bit of work to do, but it's all an iteration, right? Like do a
Yes.
headline one day. Do one of your jobs one day. Like just keep iterating, is my recommendation. Okay, we have Avril on. I'm so happy to have her here. Avril, I am going to share the screen. I'm actually going to just share you and I'll put the questions we're going to hit on. We have about
Yeah.
15 minutes to run through
Can you hear me okay, Christine?
Yep,
Okay, great. Yeah.
yep. Um, and so let's pin, I will introduce Avril and then pin her here. But Avril is a good friend of mine. We connected at VMware. We've worked on projects together. She's also a client. She has transitioned her career and from recruiting into program management. And so I think it's going to be really nice to hear how this process helped her. And this first job search that she's in right now is the first external job search she's had to do for her new positioned career. So it's been, just a new thing for her to have to do. And so I think it'll be really great to hear from her. All right. And Avril, I am going to tee up some questions for you. Thank you so much for being
Okay, let's do this.
here. All right. All right. When you first started working with the Phoenix formula, what was your job search strategy like and how has it evolved?
Yeah, so I suppose the first thing I'd like to say is like I was in the same company for 13 years. So I've not looked for a job in 13 years. And even though my background is recruitment, interestingly enough, it's very difficult when you try to give advice to yourself, right? So when we talked about the timing, actually, Christine was absolutely perfect, right? Just in relation to because I started to look in January about for the job and things like that. So I would have looked at very old school and just applying for jobs and hopefully getting an interview. So that really was kind of my approach until we started working together. I've definitely changed my approach, probably 360 at this stage. So yeah.
Cool. That's a lot, 13 years being in a
Yeah.
being in a
Sorry.
company and having to go back and start over at what
Mm,
I feel like starting over.
absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so you've been successful at niching down your focus. Like when we first started working together, you had two different types of roles you were targeting, two different types of resumes. What made you decide to specialize rather than applying broadly, and how has that changed your results?
So yeah, I'd love to share some kind of metrics because that's just the way my mind works. And what I've done is so when we first started kind of working together, I was just applying, and then obviously through the conversations we were having and the approach that we were doing, I was changing bit by bit. right? So I did change my approach into the amount that I was applying to, and then I started networking. So I think that was my biggest evolution. In hindsight, I wish I did it quicker. I wish I, hindsight's a great thing. I wish I kind of took on the advice probably a lot sooner, because it's paid off for me in the networking strategy that we're doing, right? And it's about selling myself. I think again as well, it's not just about telling the story of what your story is. It's like how can you impact that other company, and not just it's in the text, that it's in the emails that you're saying, it's in your LinkedIn profile, and it's how now I try to approach my networking emails. I think I was getting really overwhelmed because what I was trying to do was apply to many jobs, network, and I was just like, I can remember we had a conversation. I was like, I can't do this, right? As in like to this volume. And I think one thing that stood in my head was, now my rule is I apply for one job and I do all networking around that job. So which job today is the one I want to apply for that I think be most relevant? And then I start networking. And I think that's the biggest change for me, really. And that's kind of made me a bit more relaxed, if that makes sense, and not as overwhelmed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really helpful. And you were going after two different types of roles when you started,
Yeah.
right? Like you have extensive background in recruiting at top tech companies. Can you tell us a little
Yeah.
bit about that?
Yeah. So I think it was on panic, Christine, honestly. I think I was just overwhelmed. I was panic. I started sending out in CVs and I just wasn't getting a response, right? So then I was, okay, should I go back to what I used to do, even though it's not my plan A? And, because I'd moved from recruitment into project management, and that's really, really what I wanted to do and continue doing. So I think it was a panic thing. It didn't make sense how could you even sell yourself correctly, even on your LinkedIn or your CV and things. So I'm really targeting my approach now. So I'm doing applying for one job a day, doing my networking emails, networking calls, and focusing on project management because that's what I want. And I think and from my stats, I haven't updated you really since I've collated this, but I've sent 62 applications. Okay, 8 out of that, then the 54 were blanket, right? They were blanket, and I got 22 regrets. And then the 8 that I've done networking, I'll have to bring it up here. So it is the 8 that I did networking for. I've had I'm in process. I went into process for 3 roles. One actually turned out to be hybrid as I talked to them, but it was only getting through the networking conversation I had. They got my CV reviewed by the recruiter. Okay. And then I got the recruiting and I got the further interview. So it was through that strategy and that networking strategy I got the interview. Now, unfortunately, in this one, it ended up being hybrid. They posted it as remote. I have to be remote. So that one gone, unfortunately. The other one then I just got regretted for, but that's okay too. I got to second round interview, and again it was through an old colleague of mine that I worked with 20 years ago. I've got so I'll tell you about like how I approached that in a minute. So then there's other ones. Then the other one I have is the company's actually talking to me. They're asking me questions. So I haven't the interview yet, but that's what I'm hoping will happen, again through networking. And I've kind of got boulders in like there's the managing director, and I'm Irish, if you haven't guessed, living in Spain. But I got onto the agency in Ireland and their managing director there, and I just said, "Oh, hi, Maureen. We crossed paths years ago. Your company has a job in Spain, remote. Any chance you can connect me to some of the team there?" And she couldn't have been nicer. Like, could not be nicer. And that is one of the roles I'm going through for. Now, there has been also, like, it's not all, they're all not coming back to me, but I'm kind of trying to do the percentage ratio, of reaching out and then seeing who'll come back. If I reach out to 8 per job, that's kind of what I'm working with now, and seeing
Yeah.
if they'll come back then.
That's incredible. Avril has been the number one networker, I would say. And honestly, it's the best place to spend your time. Once you have your talk track and your story, networking is absolutely where to spend it. And so thanks so much for covering your most effective networking approach.
Yeah.
The next piece is, I think you captured this a little bit, but many job seekers struggle with time management during their search. How do you structure your limited time to ensure you're focusing
Yeah,
on high
I think
impact?
that was my thing. So I now have kind of, I think it's just putting a lot of work. It's like you're still, at the start trying to get your framework in, doing the things that you suggested definitely have helped me. And now I have my template set up. So I have different ones depending on networking, the emails that I want to send. So a lot of them actually literally are giving my impact. I can deliver for your organization. This is what I delivered previously, seats that, different percentages. Again, trying to say what I can give for them. So I've reached out to people I've went to that were in Cork. Cork's a big city in Ireland. Going, oh yeah, we went to the same university in Cork. Just trying to make that connection. Look, is there any chance that we can chat? And I've kind of got, and I will say, this was not a comfortable thing for me, and this is why I did not jump into it straight away, Christine. And I think now I'm getting more comfortable, absolutely, and I definitely feel like it could be the same for other people. I think the mantra is like, what you've to lose. You know, I hope for people on the call that they don't, take looking at my experience of having to go through those metrics to get where I am now. You could miss all of that potentially if you went into the kind of the networking strategy straight away. And I find I do it in the mornings. I'm a morning person. It's where I have my, that pow that you start in the morning and your motivation. And I probably could have had them lined up who I want to email, but again, that being nervous, honestly, or questioning myself towards the end of the day, I do it in the mornings. So that's my advice to you.
Oh,
Get that right time, yeah, to send them.
that's awesome. Yeah, and I think a lot of people do sit on the sidelines with networking, and they think, and there's a sense of accomplishment from applying online,
Yeah.
and there's a cost to applying online, right? Where it can just make you feel so downtrodden. You're like, you get to a point where you're like, oh, I need to go apply to different types of jobs, what I used to do, what I don't actually want to do. And so I hope that sits with people a little bit, because networking is the way to get this done. How do you maintain your energy and enthusiasm throughout what could be a lengthy process?
Oh, do you know what? Some days are up and some days are not. Do you know what I mean? I just got regretted for a role, but I think even collating the metrics that I did today before this call, that kind of gave me a bit of a boost, and for me, I write lists of I want to do my one role a day. That's my minimum, with my networking emails and who can I talk to. And that's my ambition today. And then kind of for the end of the week. So, when you get to that point, then it's easier. I have my templates ready to go, and I just do it.
That's interesting. I'm hearing a couple things from you. One is that you're focusing on activities that you trust will produce outcomes versus just the outcome, right?
Yeah.
Like you got regretted, and I love how you say regretted.
Yeah.
We say rejected. Regretted sounds a little worse, a little better, but regretted for a role, and then but then you went back to your metrics, and that like this is a numbers game, and you've just got to keep after it, and you'll find the right roles with the right people that are going to help place you.
But I think the difference is it's the numbers game of networking. That's the change, because you cannot apply to all of these jobs and network at the same time and do the same. Well, I couldn't do it, and it's just that's what got me overwhelmed. So
yeah, totally. So the next one was, what advice would you give to someone who feels networking is uncomfortable or inauthentic compared to simply applying for positions, right? Like this feeling of like icky, like you're trying to get something from them, or how did you overcome it? What would you tell people?
Yeah, I think it's just going back to that nerves again and that uncomfortability, but like and again doing, and when you do contact them, do it at the right time. That's that that you will do it, not when you're during the day. As I said, the morning for me. It's just not, I wouldn't say everyone's doing it. I definitely think it's at the forefront, Christine. Do you know what I mean? Because again, I think if you got over the nerves and started to do it more, it becomes more comfortable, and people have actually been quite nice, honestly. And then people don't come back, but nobody's been rude, you know, nobody's come back saying, don't contact me, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think the one, I'm getting bolder, right? I'm going higher. I emailed, not text, sorry, apologies, emailed a VP in a global organization, at a program manager in Spain, and he's from Cork, and he's living in the US. And I was like, hi, how are you? He asked asked me for my CV, which was lovely. He didn't want to do the call. He just said, "Look, I'll forward your CV, send it to me." Kind of knew.
Yeah, that's fine.
Now I sent it to him. Now I haven't heard anything back, but look, it was alright, you know. And
That's
as I said,
something.
like, nobody's been rude. I think that's the biggest learning. Nobody's come
Yeah.
back. Yeah,
And you're just powering through, and you'll get better, and it'll get easier.
yeah.
And that's great. Um, so the last one I would say is, looking back at your journey so far, what would you say is the single most important mindset shift that's making a difference in your job search?
Yeah, it's the applications versus networking. It's just number one, and it's selling. It's not selling. It's selling yourself, but what can you do for them? Like, it's kind of double-barreled at the same time. It's not just selling yourself. You could be selling yourself, but into the wrong audience, and you're selling the wrong thing. Like, what do they need to hear from you? And then again, that morning time for me of, because I do that like, I'm being vulnerable right now. Like, I can't, you know, by lunchtime I'm exhausted, and I'd nearly question myself. I probably would not send those networking emails, and I just do it first thing in the morning. Yeah. So that's what I would think I've learned. And honestly, like, to be honest, Christine, as I said, like, even from my being a recruiter, you know, again, trying to give yourself advice, for me to get to this stage, I want to say thanks, honestly. You know what I mean? I feel like I've got to a place where I will get a job, you know, if I continue doing this, because the old way isn't working. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, just
Oh,
definitely. Yeah, I'll let you know how it go though.
yeah. That's amazing. And you're really powering through, right? Like, like, the job search is such an emotional roller
Yeah.
coaster. I like to think of it as like a mind fuck. Like, I just like,
Mm,
it is so hard that if you
yeah.
can find the time of day or something and expect that it's going to be challenging, and there's
Yeah.
certain things you can do to make it just a little better,
Yeah,
um,
it does. Yeah.
you've done
Yeah.
it. You've done it. So thanks for being on. Please let us know what your takeaway from hearing from Avril was. Avril, thank you so much. And
No problem.
I'm gonna
Absolutely.
share my slides so we can wrap for the day. Cool. All right, let me work on that. Um, all right. All right. So I just wanted to share this question of the day for you to think about. Can't I just take what I've learned and do this on my own? So you absolutely can. You can try, and it might be quite a bit more challenging. And it's because you're unique, and figuring out how to tell your story and what you've done um, requires personalized guidance and not DIY templates. I mean, what's nice is what I've been able to give you is like AI. AI is going to be able to help you. And if you can figure out how to prompt AI, it's helpful. I'll tell you, even the clients I work with today, I give them the AI prompts and they're still like, Christine, I need help, right? So AI is not easy to get everything that you need out, but know that you're unique, and so is your career journey. For the last pitch for you guys on the Phoenix Formula, I think it's about $13,000 in value, and you can enroll now. The cart closes on Tuesday,
Can
and
I,
we'll
sorry.
have a whole cohort of people. Go ahead, Avril.
I just saw a text in the chat, or a text or
Yeah.
an email in the chat going, could I share some of my emails? I'll send them to you after, Christine, if you want. And yeah, you can send them to the group here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. And I also have, as part of the handouts, the foundational email series you'll get, I have a networking, no awkward networking playbook that has some of those too. And it talks about how I think about networking. We talked a little bit about this, but the Phoenix Formula is not just a course. Job searching is not a straight path. You can learn all the things I'm going to teach you today and implement them. And it's a great start, but this is reality, and what it really looks like. So I think having the guidance along the way will, I mean, it could give you tenfold salary increase. Book a clarity call today. I'd love to work with you all, and also join the community. You all will get a chance to be a part of the community. You'll have my foundational email series. We're doing a bonus session on Monday for creating content that attracts. So join me. I think we'll do some working sessions with AI and go over some key topics and things that you can ask yourself to be able to show your unique, exceptional value prop. And then on Tuesday, there'll be a live Q&A for anyone that wants to know more. I want to tell you all thank you and congratulations. Like, you made it through the week. For those of you that came every day, you'll get my AI prompts. And I hope that you have discovered your unique value prop, learned to position yourself strategically, master the art of quantifying your impact, and created your complete value story. This isn't the end, it's just the beginning. Know that like, this masterclass really is a gift to you all from me. I think a lot of masterclasses don't give nearly as much value, and I wanted it to be a really good use of your time. I know your time is totally maximized with job searching, and so you'll also have a community to be a part of and to continue this journey together. I would love, as a token of your appreciation, please give me feedback. I think it's really helpful for people to understand the true value that they can get from this masterclass as I look at promoting my next one. I don't have to say the date, but it is going to be May 12th. So next masterclass, May 12th. Join me. You can keep going on this journey. And these are the bonus sessions: creating content that attracts and a live Q&A. So I will go ahead and stop sharing. Thank you all. I will give you that link so that you have it in email. And moving you over here. And I'm happy to stay on if anyone has questions. Cool. Thank you.